This episode is sponsored by my good friend, Petra Kolb. Hello and welcome back to Film Pro Productivity and Success, the podcast that helps film pros and all creative people to live a more focused, effective and happy life. My name is Carter Ferguson and today's episode is 147. It's Digital Detox. Things changed when my phone outsmarted me. Once Facebook had a permanent place in my pocket, it became a permanent portal, able to transport me away from my family. Even if we were physically in the same room, I wasn't necessarily there with them. Facebook was no longer simply a nap-time vacation, but an all-day form of escapism. Wendy Speak, unquote. And that's from her book, The 40-Day Social Media Fast, Exchange Your Online Distractions for Real-Life Devotion. It's a book worth looking at if you're interested in today's topic, I can assure you. In this episode, the astute amongst you, I'd like to point out, will already have noticed, is very much connected to last week's show where I looked into Cal Newport's theory of deep work. That's achieving a state of flow where you get your best work done. And this week, I'm going to try and convince you to cut back on social media. I've tried it before, and I'm going to try it again. I'm going to try and get you to cut back on Facebook and the use of technology so that you can find again the focus that you need for success. Digital detoxes have gained significance in today's fast-paced, technology-driven world, but what are they all about? That's the question. I've talked about it here, as I say, often. I've talked about my addiction to YouTube, for example, and I finally picked that one when I simply removed the app from my phone. I also removed Facebook. You see, I'd often feel like before I'd even gotten up for the day, I think I've used this analogy before. It's not really an analogy, it's a truth. This is my life. Before I'd even got up for the day, that I'd been on those apps looking at short videos and stuff, and the end result was that I often felt like I'd already done a shift in watching video after video for that dopamine kick before I'd even get out of my bed. But here's the thing though, my devious mind, even when I get rid of YouTube and all these other distractions, my devious mind soon discovered that Instagram has the same video option, and I continued to waste my time there even though I'd killed a few other distractions. So you really have to be careful that you aren't deluding yourself as to what's going on. I did eventually also remove Instagram as well, but I'm back on it all now, unfortunately, because I'm promoting this show, although absolutely, as soon as I've got this season recorded and as soon as I've got a few buffers done, which are like social media automated message send-outs, I will be coming back off social media again. Anyway, I'm going off on one. The quote that I used a few weeks ago comes to mind with all this, and it's, whatever you are not changing, you are choosing. Whatever you are not changing, you are choosing. I don't choose to waste as much of my life on social media as I have been doing. It bothers me, it annoys me, it depresses me. And one study discovered that Americans spend an average of 4 hours watching TV and about 7.5 hours on digital devices each day. And unsurprisingly, so much screen time is stressing many of us out. And I'm really sorry, incidentally, I always seem to be using Americans' studies in America for examples of what's going on. It's just that there's an awful lot of studies getting done in the States, and that's where a lot of information that my research is taking me. So it's not that I've got a thing, I'm not particularly picking on you if you're from the States. This just happens to be where a lot of studies have happened. If using electronic media causes you to have any of the following experiences, it's a clear sign that you may have to disconnect. And it would be a depressed mood, it would be increased irritability, frustration and anger. It would definitely be feeling insecure. It would possibly be leading to loss of sleep, or certainly interrupted sleep, and feeling obligated to consume, respond, react, or check in with others. And if that sounds like you, then keep on listening. Please keep on listening. A red flag is if you're losing interest in being social in person because you'd rather just connect with people online. Kai-Rai Prewitt, unquote. I'm so sorry if I've got that pronunciation wrong. It's so hard to stay on top of pronunciations. But yeah, I'll just say it again. A red flag is if you're losing interest in being social in person because you'd rather be connecting with people online. So, let's quickly talk about dopamine. What the heck is all that about? Well, In short, dopamine is a chemical. In short, it's actually quite long. I have to research all this stuff. Dopamine is a chemical neurotransmitter released in the brain that makes you feel good. That's what dopamine is. And dopamine plays a role in how we feel pleasure. It's a big part of our unique human ability to think and plan. It helps us to strive, to focus, and find things interesting. And your body spreads it along 4 major pathways in the brain, like most other systems in the body, though you don't notice it, or maybe even know about it until there's a problem. Too much or too little of it can lead to a vast range of health issues. Some are serious, like Parkinson's disease, and others are much less dire. The connection between dopamine and digital devices and social media lies in the way these platforms trigger the release of dopamine, and it works like this. The use of digital devices and social media triggers anticipation and reward. We anticipate notifications, likes, comments, and new content, and the reward comes in the form of a dopamine release when we receive them. When you receive a notification or a positive interaction on social media, dopamine is released into your brain. This release of dopamine creates a pleasant and pleasurable sensation in there, and it reinforces the behavior and motivates you to seek it again. There's a feedback loop there that encourages and increases addictive behavior. The anticipation and reward cycle, it's called, fueled by dopamine, can create a feedback loop that leads to addictive behaviors. We become conditioned to seek out and engage with digital devices or social media platforms in the pursuit of that pleasurable dopamine release, and this can result in excessive use, compulsive checking, and difficulty disengaging from these digital experiences. That's the habit we pick up all too quickly, like a drug addiction, to dopamine. Are you getting all this, folks? Are you understanding why I'm going on yet again about this sort of stuff? All of this is a distraction. All of this stops you focusing on the stuff that matters. I'm old enough to remember a time before all of it. I remember going to the bank when I was young, starting a bank account, and I distinctly remember waiting in line and not taking out a phone to kill any time. I just sat there and waited to get to the front of the queue. I looked around, I thought about things. That's how it worked. That's all I did. And do you remember that time? I mean, some of you will be that young, you probably have lived with this your whole life, and you'll have to find new ways to deal with it. But there was a time, for those of us that are a little bit older, where we didn't have to worry about this. Unfortunately, in today's world, we are all caught up in it, and it is an issue, as I say. Understanding the connection between dopamine and digital devices and social media, however, can help us to be more aware of our behaviours, and in turn, we can make conscious decisions about their usage, ensuring that we have a healthier relationship with the sorts of technology that we use. And that brings me back to the topic of today's show. A digital detox is an escape from all of this, an opportunity to reclaim a sense of balance, reduce stress, and think about your mental well-being. It involves disconnecting from the screens that you've got, from social media and digital communication for a set period of time, because by taking a break from our devices, we can invest more time and attention in building meaningful relationships with friends, with family, and the world round about us. And the reason that I'm bringing all this up, of course, is that above all else, in time management terms, continuous engagement with digital technology can be a surefire, dead set killer of productivity. If you don't recognise that, I'm very pleased for you, as it's one of the greatest problems we face in the modern world. If you don't have that problem, fantastic. Don't allow yourself to get drawn into it. And the things that people avoid doing during a digital detox would include things like checking email, playing video games, scrolling through social media, text messaging, using smartphones or tablets in any way, shape or form, or watching the news or other TV programs. Taking a break from viewing or engaging in social media is the most popular form of digital detox. Negative social media experiences can trigger anxiety and depression and affect your self-esteem. I've already done a show on this topic. It's called Less Scrolling, More Living. But here are 5 clear benefits for you right here and now that I've found from regular social media detoxes that I have taken. I think I was online for 7 months of last year, but the other 5 months I was on a digital detox. It's not that I wasn't using email, etc. It's just that I greatly reduced the usage of specifically social media. So here's some benefits. Number 1, increased focus and productivity. Digital distractions such as notifications, emails, social media can fragment your attention and hinder your ability to focus deeply on important tasks. That's the whole thing that I was going on about last week in deep work. But by disconnecting from digital devices, we can cultivate better concentration, we can enhance our productivity, and we can accomplish basically more meaningful work, do better work, do work that matters. Number 2, improved mental and emotional well-being. Continuous exposure to the digital devices, to social media, and constant connectivity to other things can lead to information overload. I've got a real issue with it in today's world. I'm so aware of it. It leads to increased stress levels and decreased mental well-being. So taking a break from technology allows you to recharge, to reduce anxiety, and to regain a sense of calm. Number 3, I have enhanced real-life connections and relationships. So excessive screen time on digital devices can lead to a decline in real life interactions and connections with humans. Other humans, remember them? They're out there somewhere. A digital detox will encourage you to engage in face-to-face conversations, spend quality time with loved ones, and participate in activities that foster genuine human connections. I'm aware of this at the moment. I've been doing an awful lot of screen time prep, admin work, to do with the film, to do with my other business things, to do with doing this episode. And tomorrow I'm going to make time, after I've been to the gym for a swim, to see my friend Ross Gary, my DOP from Fast Romance, and we're going to have a coffee tomorrow morning. Although I'm not on the coffee, it'll be a fruit tea for me. But I do try and fit these things in. I've got a very, very tight schedule, but I really do try and put time into meeting people face to face. Is a big help for the old mental health, etc. And number 4 on my list of clear benefits, without getting distracted, that's what I'm talking about here, is that reduced anxiety and stress levels. By taking a break, we have got an opportunity to disconnect from the virtual world and focus on our own thoughts, engage in mindful activities, and gain clarity about our values and our priorities. All of this really has a positive impact on our anxiety and on our stress. And finally, reclaiming valuable time for other activities and self-care. Constant digital engagement, if you want to call it that, leaves little room for self-reflection and introspection. So cutting off these activities opens up the opportunity for you to rediscover old hobbies and other fun stuff. Old hobbies. What did you used to do that you no longer do, and why do you no longer do it? Is it because you spend 7.5 hours a day looking at your phone, or your iPad, or your Switch, or whatever? Is it because you're sitting watching the box on the wall, or sitting in your living room for 4, 5, 6 hours a day? Could you stop doing that? Go for a walk? Could you stop doing that? Go and I don't know. I used to build model airplanes. I could build a model airplane. I could do that. That's not top on my list of priorities to do. But, there are things I used to do that I would quite like to try doing again. So think about what you used to do and go and do it. Make some time for it. But you can really only do that if you start cutting back on the amount of time you're putting into staring at screens. So to sum up, digital detoxes help us reassess our dependence on technology and set healthier boundaries. They allow us to become more mindful of our digital habits as well, set limitations on our screen time, and develop a more balanced approach to using technology. They serve as a means of balance, kind of counterbalance to the overwhelming presence of technology in the world that we live in. And they provide an opportunity to disconnect, recharge, and prioritize our well-being and relationships. And ultimately, at the end of the day, foster a healthier and more intentional relationship with technology. Do you really need me to give you a call to action on this week? Well, here's one anyway. Plan a digital, week-long digital detox and make it happen. Do it. If you like where it's heading, extend that to a month. And here's a few tips to get you started on this. 1, identify the behavior that you want to change. 2, set specific goals for reducing or eliminating that behavior. Yeah, if you don't think you can eliminate it altogether, try setting a goal to reduce it. Reduce your screen time from 4 hours a night to 1 hour a night and see what you can do with the other time you've freed up. Number 3, seek support from friends and family to stay accountable. In my experience, the friends and family will be doing everything they can to mess you up, to stop you, to get you back onto the things that you're doing, to watch the television with them. They'll put things in your way that you're trying to break away from. There's a Switch in our house, and I like it. It's great. It's amazing games and stuff. But what I've been trying to do is focus my time on another screen, my Kindle. It's a slightly different sort of screen, though. I'm trying to read a book, and I find I'm happier reading the book than playing on the Switch, believe it or not. Anyway, seek support from friends or family to stay accountable and make them understand that this is a serious thing, that you're not joking. You may have to remove yourself from them a little bit if they're constantly pestering you to watch TV or whatever. It is difficult when you're living with people to make some of these things happen. So try and think of a way to make that work. Next up, regularly assess your progress and be aware of replacing one digital habit with another. Yeah, so it happened with me, as I mentioned earlier. I got rid of the YouTube addiction and I found myself watching shorts on Instagram. So I just swapped one for the other. You've got to be careful. Your brain will try and trick you out of this. It'll try and lead you in directions you don't want to go. Keep heightened awareness of this. Keep on that high level of thinking I talk about. And finally, reflect on the benefits and barriers you've experienced and consider the long-term changes based on the results you've got from this detox. So basically, do it for a week, suss out what's going on, and see if you can extend it, see if you can make some changes. And if you can, I would really go for a 1 month or a 2 month break from social media specifically as a good thing to aim for. That's worked for me. You might find it'll take you a couple of weeks to get into the flow of this, though. I'm suggesting do a week as a test. You might struggle in that week. If you think, though, you're getting somewhere, extend it further. If you can get up to a month, if you can get up to 2 months, you're really going to realize just how much time you've lost to these advices and how much more focused and generally happier you're going to get. Anyway, good luck with that one. I need to move on. The episode is getting a little bit long. I'm absolutely not a believer in cancel culture, so even though he was a very bad boy at the Oscars, I'm going to end today with a quite reasonably relevant quote from Mr. Will Smith, who said something fairly relevant to all of this. He said, "Stop letting people who do so little for you control so much of your mind, feelings, and emotions." Let's face it, folks, he has a point. Stop letting these devices, these creators of these devices, these owners of these social media companies, stop letting them in. Stop letting them control your mind, control your attention, take over. Get back control, and you'll find that you're set for a happier life, a more successful life. So, that's enough for now. Take control of your own destiny, keep on shooting, and join me next time on Film Pro Productivity and Success. And the music that you can hear right now is Adventures by Himitsu. I must check the pronunciation of that. After 146 episodes, you'd think you should know. Anyway, the official website's filmproproductivity.com. You can join me on the official Twitter page, which is at FilmProProdPod, or at Facebook on FilmPro Productivity. I'm making a meal of this one. Anyway, continue to support the show, my friends, by subscribing, spreading the word, and please do take a minute out to leave an awesome review on Apple Podcasts if you can. See you next time.